All right, we are starting a video lesson on section 2 of chapter 13, and here we are at Nocte Sol. Nocte Sol non lucet, at night the sun does not shine, sed luna et stellae lucent, but the moon and the stars shine. Luna ipsa suam lucem non habet, the moon itself does not have its own light. Lux lunae, the light of the moon, a sole venet, comes from the sun. Itaque, and so, luna non tam clara est quam sol. The moon is not so bright, clara here is best translated bright, as the sun. Sol est stella clarissima, the sun is the brightest star. Quae luce sua et terram et lunam illustrat, which illuminates both the land and the moon, or the earth and the moon, we could say, luce sua, with its own light. Now, of course, it's brightest because it's closest, not because it's necessarily the most powerful, right? Neque tota luna sole illustrator, nor is the whole moon, tota luna, illuminated by the sun, sole. Sed tantum ea pars, but only that part, quae vertitur ad solum, which is turned towards the sun. Caetera pars obscura est. The rest of the part, the other part we might say, is obscure, is dim. Cum exigua pars lunae tantum videtur, when only a itty-bitty, tiny, small part of the moon is seen. Luna nova esse dicitur, it is said to be a new moon. Now this is under Roman designations. The new moon is like with a sliver of a crescent. Normally what we call a new moon is actually when you can't see it at all. So in English, it's a little bit different here. Die septimo vel octavo, on the 7th or the 8th day, post lunam novum, after the new moon, luna dimidia videtur, a half moon is seen. That's what dimidia literally means. It means half, right? Sort of cut in down the middle. It's related to medius, meaning middle. But of course, we technically call that a quarter moon. I know that's kind of a funny thing, but so luna dimidia, you could translate it as half because that's what dimidia literally means, but we usually call that a quarter moon. And notice it's shaped like a D. You can see it out in the margin there. All right, luna dimidia, half moon, quae formam habet litterae de, which has the shape of the letter D. Die quinto decimo, on the 15th day, post lunam novam, after the new moon, luna plena est, the moon is full, et formam habet litterae O, and it has the shape of the letter O. And there you can see in the margin again, plena, the full moon, it does look like an O, or in other words, a circle. Cum luna non lucet, when the moon is not shining, nox obscura est, the night is dim or dark. Dies mensis primus, the first day of the month, calendae nominatur, is called the calends. And this is where we get calendar from in English. Calendae in Latin is usually spelled with a K. In fact, it's probably the only word in Latin that is almost always spelled with a K. K is a really rare Latin letter, rather, and it only appears in front of an A in Latin. So the first day of the month is called the calendae or calends. Dies primus mensis Januariae, the first day of the month of January, dicitur calendae Januariae, is called the January calends, or we might just say the calends of January. Is dies anni primus est. This day is the first of the year, atque initium anni novi, and the beginning of a new year. Diei primo mensis Juliae, calendae Juliae nomen est. For the first day of the month of July, the name is calendae Juliae, which means the July calends or the calends of July. Is est dies anni medius. That is the middle day of the year. Dies tertius decimus, the 13th day, post calendas idus nominatur. 13th day after the calends is called the Ides. So idus, the Latin word, it's a fourth declension, and it translates to Ides in English. So the calends is the first day. The Ides, it says, is the 13th day after that. Idus Januarii dies tertius decimus est post calendas Januarias. The January Ides is the 13th day after the calends of January. Item idus Februarii dicitur dies tertius decimus mensis Februarii. Likewise, the February Ides, or the Ides of February, is called the 13th day of the month of February. Said idus Martii, but the March Ides, or the Ides of March, dies est quintus decimus mensis Martii, is the 15th day of the month of March. Okay, so basically what we're talking about here, most months the Ides is on the 13th, but not for Mars. Mars month, the March month, right, which is sacred to Mars, it is on the 15th for the Ides, not on the 13th. There are some other months as well. In March, July, October, and May, the nones fell on the 7th day. It's a little rhyme. In March, July, October, May, the nones fell on the 7th day. Those months have the nones, another special day, on the 7th, and they have the Ides on the 15th. All other months of the year, so the other 8 months, had the Ides on the 13th and the nones on the 5th, 2 days earlier. All right, so continuing on, 15th day of the month is the Ides of March. Nam mense Martio, for the month March, item Maio, Julio, Octobri, likewise for May, for July, and for October, idus non dies tertius decimus, sed quintus decimus post calendas est. The Ides is not the 13th day, but the 15th day after the calends. Dies nonus, the 9th day, ante idus, before the Ides, dicitur nonae, is called the nones. So this is that other special day I just mentioned. So nonae in Latin, and it's called nones in English. You'll notice all of these words, calends, nones, and Ides, end with an S in English, like they're plural, and that's because they're plural in Latin. Idus is a fourth declension plural. Nonae and calendae are first declension plurals, right? So it's a little funny, but these special days, the calends, the Ides, and the nones, all have plural endings in Latin. Okay, so that 9th day before the Ides is called the nones, or nonae. Nonae Januarii, dies quintus Januarii. Nonae Februarii, dies quintus Februarii. Nonae Martii, dies septimus Martii, etc. All right, so this just gives some examples. The nones of January is the 5th day of January. The nones of February, likewise, the 5th day of February. But the nones of March, remember this is one of those special months. In March, July, October, May, the nones fell on the 7th day. So it says it's the 7th day, dies septimus of March. Dies octavus, the 8th day, ante calendas Januarias, before the calends of January. Qui dicitur ante diem octavum calendas Januarias, which is called the before 8th day calends January. This is just how you technically say the date. So you want to say that the 8th day before the calends, you do it ante diem, and then make octavum agree with diem in accusative. Then you put calendas in the accusative, and then you put Januarius to agree with calendas. And this, if I were to translate it, it would mean the 8th day before the calends of January. Es dies anni brevissimus is the shortest day of the year. This is what we would call the winter solstice. Now, if you do the math on this, 8 days before the January 1st, and you do inclusive counting like the Romans do, so you count the first day and the last day, you'll see that this is actually December 25th. And you might notice that date is the day of Christmas, and it's not a coincidence. Christmas while it commemorates the birth of Jesus Christ, is not actually on his technical birthday. It's actually on the winter solstice according to the old Roman calendar. So actually on our calendars, the winter solstice usually falls on the 20th through the 22nd. But originally the date of Christmas was fixed based on the old Roman calendar and when the shortest day of the year fell. All right, ante diem octavum calendas Julias, the eighth day before the calends of July, dies anni longissimus est, is the longest day of the year. Ante diem octavum calendas Aprilis, the eighth day before the calends of April, id est die octavo ante calendas Apriles, that is, on the eighth day before the April calends. Nox atque dies aequi sunt, the night and day are equal. Is dies aequinoctium dicitur. This day is called the equinox. Now, you might have heard of this before, the spring or vernal equinox in April. There's a fall or autumn equinox later in the fall it's 8 days before the calends of October, so that's the end of September, right? As we see down below. All right. Item ante diem octavum calendas Octobres aequinoctium dicitur. Likewise, the 8th day before the calends of October, in other words, that's going to be at the end of September, is said to be the equinox there. So again, the technical term equinox, this is a day of the year, one day in the spring and one in the fall, when the day and night are the same length, right? Nam eo quoque die, for on that day also, nox aequa est atque dies. The night is equal, we would say, to the day. The night and day are equal, we could also say. Tempora anni sunt quator. The times of the year are 4. Aestas et hiems, summer and winter. Ver et autumnus, spring and fall. Aestas est tempus a mense junio. The summer is the time from the month June ad Augustum to August. Hiems a mense decembri ad februarium. Winter from the month of December to February. Mensis junius initium aestatis. The month of June, the beginning of summer. December initium hiemis est. December, the beginning of winter. Tempus a martio ad maium, ver dicitur. Time from March to May is called spring. A mense septembre ad novembrem autumnus. From the month September to November, autumn or fall. Ver a mense martio initium facit. Spring begins from the month March. Autumnus a septembre incipit. Autumn or fall begins from September. All right, so that gets us down to 86. We're going to stop here and we'll finish up section 2 in a later video lesson. Volete omnes. Hope you learned a few things.